It is a few minutes to 4 o'clock East African time. Good afternoon and welcome to this edition of News Now, right here on TV47, the home of untold stories on this 17th day of July 2024. I am George Maringa and we have a lot lined up for you, and here is a sneak peek of some of the top stories making headlines at this hour. Journalist Macharia Gaitho demands accountability for police officers who arrested him and later released him, citing a case of mistaken identity.
And forced me into their car, a white Probox. I was sandwiched between two men in civilian clothes. I was handcuffed.
Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza accused of employing 111 personal staff in fresh impeachment bid.
Correspondence relating to the broadened workforce in the county governor's office, copies of which are produced on pages 260.
Plus, the business community in Kitengela left counting losses following massive destruction of property and looting during the anti-government protest witnessed in the town on Tuesday.
Aviona jana tuliibiwa na wahuni, na kwangu siwezi sema hii ni maandamano sasa. Hata kama niko kwa hiyo stage ya millennials, mimi hii si maandamano. Sasa hii ni ukola na kuharibia watu kazi.
We thank you for joining us and choosing TV47 to inform you. Presiding Judge of Siaya High Court, Justice Daniel Ogola Ogembo, has been found dead in his residential house in Siaya town. Justice Daniel Ogembo's body was found by his driver who had gone to pick him for work this morning. The late Justice Ogembo is said to have worked until close of business on Tuesday before he was dropped at the house by his driver, who went to pick him as usual this morning, but found his door locked. He then alerted the other judiciary staff with whom they came together with security personnel, who broke the door and found his body on the bed. Siaya County Police Commander Cleti Kimayo has confirmed the mysterious demise of Justice Daniel Ogembo, noting that the body has been moved to a funeral home in Kisumu for preservation and autopsy. Justice Ogembo has served as the presiding judge of Siaya High Court for close to 2 years when he took over from Lady Justice Roslyn Aburili. Now, veteran journalist Macharia Gaitho was on Wednesday arrested and released after the DCI said it was a case of mistaken identity. Gaitho was seized while leaving his home in Karen and bundled into a waiting probox. The journalist was with his son at the time of the incident. A short video shows three uniformed police officers and others in civilian clothing roughing and rushing him inside the car. Gaitho says he does not believe that it was a case of mistaken identity, noting the huge and evident disparity between him and blogger Francis Gaitho, who police say was their target. The Kenya Union of Journalists, KUJ, and the Kenya Editors Guild have strongly condemned the incident, which is the recent attacks on journalists, even as members of the fourth estate plan to hold nationwide demonstrations next week.
We decided to come to Karen police station because we recognize that this is an abduction or a carjacking or some similar criminal activity. So we came to Karen police station to look for help. We drove right into the station, but those two cars followed us right inside and forced me into their car, a white Probox. I was sandwiched between two men in civilian clothes. I was handcuffed and I was assaulted. This guy, though, as far as I know, does not drive a car that resembles mine. It is me they were looking for. It is me they were trailing. Does this cow you? No, we cannot be cowed. I think we were there during the struggle against the one-party dictatorship. If we resisted Moi, who are these ones?
You intend to say?
Yes.
And indeed, we wait to see how that plays out. Nakuru journalists have taken to the streets to peacefully protest the shooting incident against their colleague while covering anti-government protests on Tuesday. Armed with placards and whistles, the chanting journalists walked through Kenyatta Avenue and gathered outside Nakuru Central Police Station, where they sought audience with Nakuru County Police boss Samuel Ndanyi to get an explanation about why officers shot at a journalist who had displayed her identification.
And this is what we are going to tell you. Respect the media. These are emblems of sanctity. In international humanitarian law, you respect the Red Cross, true or false?
True.
You respect the Red Crescent, true or false?
True.
Why don't you respect this?
The incident which involved police officers is not only an attack on an individual, but a direct assault on press freedom and safety of journalists in Nakuru County.
Yes.
These are our demands. Number one, we want to see arrest and prosecution of the officer involved. It is important that the officer in question be held accountable for his action to ensure justice for Ms. Wanjeri and to set a precedent that such conduct by law enforcement officers will not be tolerated.
Actually, what happened yesterday for us, it was, that is quite an unfortunate incident. You know, we have related very well before. And that's why I know most of you, even by name. I have even your contacts. From us, is that we wanted to take the investigation, us as police, especially from the DCI. But kwa sasa, what I can tell you is that we are going to hand over this investigation to IPOA because you all know IPOA is very independent from the police, so that whatever that IPOA will tell you will be you know, we don't want accusation that maybe these are cover-up from the police. You know, DCI are just police officers. So we want this matter to be handled by IPOA, and we have already indicated to them that they take over the investigation.
From Nakuru to Meru, where a notice of motion to impeach Governor Kawira Mwangaza has been tabled at the Meru County Assembly. Zipporah Kenya, a nominated member and the deputy majority leader, earlier today presented the impeachment motion, where she accuses the governor of abuse of office and misappropriation and misuse of county resources. According to Kenya, the governor, who has survived 2 impeachment attempt bids, has persisted in quote-unquote discreditable acts that violate national and county laws.
Notice of invitation for the Meru County Water and Sanitation Board Services meeting held on 18th March 2024, a copy of which is produced on page 205 of the exhibits. Video recordings which are saved in a flash disk presented herewith. And T, bank statements showing corrections of 286,516, a copy of which is produced on pages 206 to 259 of the exhibits. U, correspondence relating to the broadened workforce in the county governor's office, copies of which are produced on pages 260 to 271 of the exhibits.
The Kitengela business community is counting heavy losses following the Gen Z-led protest that turned violent on Tuesday. 1 person was fatally shot during the chaos. Many shops were damaged and looted despite traders closing early before the protest began. The peaceful protest escalated into clashes between protesters and police used tear gas as protesters allegedly threw stones at them. Some people, however, looted and destroyed property during the unrest.
Hiyo stock ilikuwa ya 50 million hivi, na kama mnavyoona hatuna stock kwa saa hizi. Jana tuliibiwa na wahuni, na kwangu siwezi sema hii ni maandamano sasa. Hata kama niko kwa hiyo stage ya millennials, mimi hii si maandamano. Sasa hii ni ukola na kuharibia watu kazi. Kwa sababu sasa sisi ni kama wametuharibia kazi, na tulikuwa mahali tulikuwa tunatafutia watoto uga, na kwa saa hizi hatujui venye kunaweza tendeka.
So tungeomba tu serikali wachukue hatua, kwa sababu hii imekuwa uwizi, na sana sana hao watu sio wa Kitengela vile tunaona. Hii sio maandamano ya kawaida.
A section of Muslim leaders in Mombasa County are now calling upon President William Ruto to sack the Prime Cabinet Secretary and CS for Foreign Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi. According to Chairman Sheikh Jumangao, Chairman of Kenya Muslim National Advisory Council, the former CSs such as Mithika Linturi, Kithure Kindiki, Aden Duale, and former Inspector General Japhet Koome should be arrested and charged for the ills that occurred in their dockets. Now, Kenmark Vice Chair Abubakar Amin wants the outgoing cabinet lifestyle audited to determine whether their wealth was acquired legally or illegally.
Tuomba pia Mudavadi vile ni katika mawaziri pia afutwe, kwa sababu ni dhulma waondoe mawaziri wote bakishe mmoja. Musalia pia tunaomba afutwe, abaki Ruto na makamu wake na spika wa bunge, na tunaomba vile vile AG arudishwe, kwa sababu serikali bila ya mshauri kikatiba ni makosa.
Yoyote ambaye ni waziri alikoko pale aangaliwe akaunti yake wakati kabla hajachaguliwa kama waziri, na alipokuwa waziri, na alipofutwa kama waziri. Pesa anazo ngapi na nzipataje? Kisha pelekwe ndani akikosa kuzitolea maelezo.
A new survey by research firm Polytrack Africa shows that at least 67% of Kenyans supported the decision by President William Ruto to dissolve his cabinet in the wake of the anti-government revolt across the country. Following that decision, at least 72.7% of Kenyans are now supporting the reappointment of some of the fired cabinet secretaries. There is, however, mixed reactions on if those to be reappointed should hold their old dockets. 71% of Kenyans are proposing they should remain at 22. The poll was conducted from July 12th to 15th of 2024 with a sample size of 6,064.
67% of Kenyans applaud the dissolution of a cabinet, while 32% were not satisfied by the executive move. The executive order to end the cabinet secretary's tenure further inspired confidence in the president, as expressed by 51.3% of the respondents, with a public discontent being expressed by a significant 32.8%, calling for more reforms. Among such reforms included the desire to reduce the size of the cabinet to 15 members by a substantial 71.3% of respondents involved in this study, citing efficiency and cost effectiveness as the primary reasons. These sentiments underscores a widespread belief among Kenyans that a leaner cabinet could lead to better governance and accountability. Furthermore, the survey revealed mixed reactions regarding the reinstatement of former cabinet secretaries. While some respondents advocated for specific individuals to return based on their perceived competence.
The Central Organization of Trade Unions, COTU, has commended the ongoing Gen Z demonstrations in an effort to push the government to address issues affecting the country. COTU Deputy Secretary General Benson Okwaro at the same time called upon President William Ruto to move with speed and address the issues and come up with strategies to combat corruption, which he said has adversely affected the society. Okwaro, on the other hand, highlighted that the prolonged demos may affect Kenya's economy, workforce and service delivery.
And I'm happy that the president has started conceding to some of the demands that they have so far put in place. Once that has been done, in my view, and that's the view of the Central Organization of Trade Unions, let the head of state respond to all those issues, giving the young people the timelines within which they have to do those issues, so that once they give the timelines, then it is our duty as the leadership in the trade union movement and all over, the leadership that have the same interests like they do should be in a position to say, yes, we agree with those timelines. And then at the end of those timelines, if the government shall have not completed the issues that have been raised, then that's the time that we need to go back to the street again and push the government to account. If corruption is addressed in this country at all levels, I can assure you this country will go back and will recover its lost glory. Even if we have to change leadership today and don't address the issue of corruption in this country, and this corruption was in the national government and it was devolved to the county government.
The Institution of Engineers of Kenya has called on the government to address the issue of pending bills crippling the sector. Speaking here in Nairobi, IEK President Shama Kiteme said the issue of pending bills, if addressed, will bring immediate relief to many businesses, resulting in the opening up of opportunities for many jobless young people.
Hope that Parliament is going to be keen, because the issue of pending bills also affects counties, not only the national government. Our conviction is that if this issue is addressed, businesses will get the monies that they need to hire more engineers, to hire more staff. And this will create more job opportunities. As it is, and with the throwing of the finance bill, of course, we understand there is a national multi-stakeholder forum proposed, so that we have a conversation around this subject and so that we have a broad national consensus on the way forward.
Not just qualification, because one may qualify, but then they are put in the wrong docket. Their output is not optimized. We run into the same challenges that we find ourselves in. So we call upon the President to consider bringing in many professionals to run the various institutions. Specifically, professions in the public service, in the private sector, have appreciation of Public Finance Management Act, and they are running all these things, and they are able to operate within the public procurement rules, which has been set aside. Very good rules.
More than 800 primary schools in Meru County stand to benefit from a Computer for Schools project aimed at improving digital literacy in rural schools. The project, an initiative of Absa Bank since the COVID pandemic era, will see a major boost to the ongoing Ministry of ICT Digital Hubs program across the country's constituencies, seeking to empower the youth to get jobs.
To start by, and the Bible says,
with this project, we aim to provide and improve our digital literacy among primary and secondary schools. At the onset of this initiative, we have equipped over 64,000 students, 70,000 computer labs across the country, and so far have reached 63 schools.
The old students of Muheto to come back to help the school so that we can improve and modernize the school to help the current students and even the students who will come in future.
We are starting another program now to digitize our schools and to ensure that we have implemented a good digital program in all our schools using the CDF money that now will be available to us.
These computers are going to go they are going to assist our parents very much, because the issue of internet, because we are going to be connected, they will not be having problem of downloading information.
Journalists in Kiambu County marched through the streets of Kiambu town to protest the shooting of their colleague, Catherine Wanjeri Kariuki, a Nakuru-based MediaMax journalist, by a policeman while covering demonstrations during the anti-government protests on Tuesday. When reading their statement, the journalists demanded respect and protection for journalists while on duty. They insisted that the police officer who shot Ms. Kariuki be arrested and prosecuted for attempted murder, stating they are determined to pursue the matter until justice is served.
It is worth noting that Ms. Wanjeri was donning the Media Council of Kenya press jacket, which is clearly visible when she was shot twice in the thigh, which raises questions on whether the shooter was hell-bent on harming the journalist intentionally, which we think so.
We are seeing an emerging trend where policemen are targeting journalists while they are working. We also demand that the government cracks its whip on those rotten eggs in the police service, either remove them, and also we want them prosecuted. In the case of Wanjeri, that policeman, because we understand he is known, we want him dismissed and also charged with attempted murder. Wanjeri is one of us from Kiambu because she comes from Dumberi.
Na ambao wanatusimamia ambao ni na Media Council of Kenya, ambao sisi kama journalist tuna renew hiyo ID every year, na hatuoni wakifanya jambo. Wanasimama tu, wanaongea, wanasimama tu. Sisi wenyewe na kamera zetu na mikrofoni zetu tunawaangaza na tunasema tu wamesema. Kwa nini wasifanye kitendo sahi? Na then tunasema hivi, huyo polisi si ati ahamishwe kutoka Nakuru County ati apelekwe county nyingine, si ataenda kuwa journalist mwingine hiyo county. Tunasema sisi wenyewe tuende na kamera zetu kwa koti yenye atapelekwa, we cover him as afungwe na aende.
And indeed, the running hashtag on X is #journalism is not a crime. Rice farmers in 13 counties are set to benefit from a 700 million shillings certified rice seeds program. The program will help in development of a sustainable certified rice seed production system that will enhance mechanization in planting, harvesting and drying of rice to reduce post-harvesting losses.
We are launching a project on sustainable seed system in the rice value chain. Consumption of rice in the country is going up, especially because of the young people who are abandoning ugali and going for rice. Currently, we are consuming about 950,000 to 1 million metric tons of rice, whereas we are only producing 200,000 metric tons. That's a deficit of 80%. The aim of this project is to increase rice production by at least 25% annually. And hopefully in the next 4 to 5 years, we will have bridged a gap of up to 50 to 60% of what we are producing.
We have a project to increase productivity of rice in Kenya. We will install first rice facilities such as seed storage room and warehouse for agricultural machinery in this area, and we will train farmers how they can increase production of rice.
One of our projects that I'm currently leading in Kenya and Uganda is aimed at making rice production much more sustainable and climate smart or climate resilient. Then secondly, at the national level, you've heard about the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, whose one of the transformation pillars is import substitution. And one of the target value chains for import substitution is rice, because we import 80% of our rice needs.
Tunafurahi kwa sababu ya hii project, tumesikia hata italete dryer sa kukaucha mchele, ndio mixture. Mchele ukitoka kule unakuja ukiwa na mixture ya kutosha.
KCA University today held its first biannual graduation ceremony at its main campus here in Nairobi, with over 1,400 students being graduated with various accolades. The ceremony saw Chancellor Olive Mugenda, University Council Chair Sitoyo Lopokiyot, University Vice Chancellor Professor I.C. Wakindiki, among other guests, attend to celebrate with the graduates who are now ready to hit the job market. The graduates have expressed hope that the job market will be kind to them.
It's been a journey for so long. I've been trying to have discipline, hard work, dedication in what I'm studying. So on to the challenge, basically is finance, because you know, education in Kenya is not that cheap. So you have to struggle to find for funds.
Wish that they'd recognize when you've advanced your education, also what you get at work, it be the same as your education. Yeah, and also the challenges that I've faced, I've been doing my master's while working, so balancing the two, it has been a bit tricky.
It has not been easy. I was a distance learning student, and I'm a family person, so it has not been easy to pursue this course with work and also with family, but I made it. So it has been a great achievement, and I'm so happy to achieve this today.
Let's get sporty. The Rift Valley region